Hi guys.
Hi everybody, we're back. Andy and Jennifer Smith.
We're the Smiths.
We're the Smiths.
Hope you're having a good night.
And Jennifer woke up this morning with this huge brainstorm, flash of inspiration. So, we really like to find like cool messages in ordinary, everyday, boring stuff. And that happened to her, I guess, through the night. She had something seep in through the night. And so
at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I got up and I grabbed a paper and I scribbled it on it. And when I got up, I'm like, oh, I scribbled over some other words. What was that? But I remembered. So what I wanted to share with you, an interesting concept that we can tie into relationships, but it's about our broken thermostat for our house. And it was driving me nuts. So we have these little triangle buttons there. Of course, the arrow pointing up is to increase the temperature and the arrow pointing down to decrease. And that bottom arrow got to where I would push and push and push and push, and it would not adjust. And so then I grab like the marker and with the cap on, not to take the cap off, and I poke it in there to try and turn that heat down at night, because we like to turn our heat down at night.
Sleep better when it's cool.
Sleep better, yeah. And but I was really glad that it was the bottom button that was broken, because when the bottom button no longer worked, it was stuck on that warmer temperature instead of being at the cold 62 or 63 degrees, right? Until he could go to the store and get something to repair it, which is awesome because he's such a great handyman. We're like, oh, if we had to pay the furnace repair guy to come and switch out the thermostat, you're going to pay for the service call and the thermostat, and they probably, increase the price of the thermostat on top of that. So, so I was kind of antsy about getting that taken care of. And he went to the store and he looked at the thermostats available. He's like, oh, guess what? I can get an upgrade. I can get a thermostat that is programmable.
For the same price as the one that is not programmable.
For the manual that you have to go push the buttons at night or morning. So I kind of hated that, because sometimes I would climb in bed at night, especially in the winter when it's freezing cold, right? And, well, it's not freezing cold because the heater was still running, but we want to turn the temperature down. So I climb in the bed, get all nice and cozy, and then I'm thinking, oh, crap, I got to go turn the heat down. So I throw the covers off, run down the hall in my bare feet, and turn that thermostat down. So he's amazing. He takes the old thermostat off, he puts the new one on, and so how cool that this broken, flawed thing that we had in our home, when we were able to work on improving it, we definitely got an upgrade.
It became an upgrade.
It was cool. So it's all programmed, so when I climb in bed at night and I forget to turn the thermostat down, I'm like, it's going to take care of itself. It was awesome.
So what does that have to do with relationships?
Yeah, sounds kind of funny, right?
So we're here to teach just a mindset shift, a paradigm shift, just a different way of looking at things, a different way of seeing what's going on in your own life and in your relationships. We tend to think that when we see something wrong, that's wrong, and we get annoyed, we get frustrated, we get discouraged, and that whole emotional battle that goes on just kind of takes everything way down where we don't want to be, where it's just miserable. But realizing that there is purpose to things going wrong, and purpose to things being broken, purpose to things being flawed. It's for the growing, the learning, and the finding the value in those things. And so that whole experience, that kind of a brainstorm for Jennifer through the night, and as she was telling me about that, I said, that reminds me of that Chinese proverb about the cracked pot. If you've never heard that, I'm not going to tell that, but go look that up. You can just do a Google search on that Chinese proverb, crackpot, and it'll bring up, you'll get different versions of it. But they all have the same basic story and the same principle being taught, that there is value in what is flawed. And that is a really cool story. If you have not heard that, go look that up. But also something else that I have learned about is a Japanese method called kintsugi. And that's basically, it
And
means...
he can say that because he's been to Japan.
I've been to Japan. I lived there
for a couple of years. Yeah.
So kintsugi is a method. The word kintsugi means joining with gold. And so it came about in the 15th century when one of the emperors had, of course, collection of fine china, things to eat on and drink out of. His most favorite cup to drink out of got broken. Can you see it's broken? It got broken. And this is actually one. This is from Japan.
Because my father was in the Navy, and he sent that to my mom. This little tea set.
So this has been in this family for a very long time, but things happen, and things happened in the 15th century to the emperor, and he was upset. And his best craftsman, glued things back together and whatever. And he's like, "That looks like garbage. I hate the look of that. You can tell it's been broken and it looked all messed up." And so he challenged his kingdom workers, whatever they were called, to come up with a better way of repairing things. And the method they came up with was mixing some kind of a lacquer or filament with powdered gold, silver, or platinum. And so they would repair things like this with those precious metals, and so you'd put things back together, and so the precious metals, then you would still see the cracks, but they would be really solid because as the lacquer and the precious metals, when they harden, are really a great bonding agent. So a really good method of fixing broken things. But what it did was it made that flaw, that crack, that broken part stand out forever. It became a part of the history of that teacup or plate or bowl or pot. It became the history of it, and it was something that can be displayed proudly. Say, look, this was broken and flawed, but look at that. It is filled with gold, silver, platinum, and it became even more valuable and more precious. And that's the mindset that we're trying to teach, and hope that you can grab onto that mindset, that our relationships are like that, that there is value in what we feel is broken in us and in each other. And when you look at yourself or your spouse or your child or your parent and you see the flaw, try to have the mindset that that is not something that we need to be ashamed of and try to cover up. If we take the Japanese mindset of repairing, we can fill that crack in us with something even more precious than the crack itself. And the value is increased as we repair what is flawed. And this mindset of not being ashamed about what is flawed and being able to enhance it and look at it and appreciate it, that's a topic we're going to cover next week. So get back with us next week. Share this message, invite others. We're going to talk more about this being ashamed of flaws instead of enhancing them, and being seeing the value and seeing the preciousness in the flaws.
So this reminds me of a couple. They were really old. They were both over 100 years old. So they had been married for 80 years. And a news reporter came to them and he said, "How did you stay together for so long?" And the older guy, he replies, "Well, we came from an era where we were taught that we are to repair and fix things that are broken rather than throw them away or dispose of them." So I think nowadays we kind of get, society kind of has that mindset, oh, if this is hard, if we're broken, if we're flawed, it's easier to just throw it away and start over with a new one, which is, I can see that if it's like a TV or something. But when we're talking like one of the most precious relationships that you should have in your life with your spouse, it's really worth the repair for the broken and flawed parts of this. So we would love to offer you a free mini coaching call, no strings attached. If you feel like there's something in your relationship that may be broken or flawed and just needs a little bit of gold put in there to strengthen it and start doing some repair work on that.
And if you need help seeing the value in the crack or the flaw,
right, to see that, hey,
we'd love to talk you through that.
Yeah, that there is the value there. So anyway, the link is in this video. Go ahead and sign up there. Hopefully there's a time that will work for you. We'd love to offer that as a free gift to you. And we look forward to sharing a little bit about some blame and shame coming up next week. So
Blame and shame. That'll be a fun topic.
yeah. All right, you guys have a great night.
Good night.
Okay, bye.